Hit you with another one of them old phenomenal shits.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Undrlvld. My name is Chris. I appreciate you all being here and for the continued support. Just want to quickly remind everyone that our 500 subscriber giveaway is going on right now. So if you check the pinned comment down below or the description, you'll find a link to Gleam. You go to Gleam to do the stuff to get the entries. And in a few days at this point, one of you lucky people will win Steam keys for Civilization Outward and Warhammer Vermintide 2. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to keep getting this mediocre content that everyone loves and adores. Also, as some of you know, I was sick, and I'm doing a lot better now, but still, got that post-cold fatigue going on. So if I take a little breather to drink a little bit of water, I apologize, but my throat is extremely dry right now. Alright, so originally I was going to make a Tal'Dorei Reborn video on the Champion of Ravens. However, the latest episode of Critical Role, I believe episode 12, made me want to redo it, which kind of sucked because, the script was done. I was all raring to go, and then I was like, well, gotta completely redo everything. I'll still go over the information on the Champion of Ravens, also known as Vax'ildan, found in Tal'Dorei Reborn, but I will also try to link him to Laudna, Chetney, the Remnants, the Cleric Orders, and the Briarwoods, because I feel they are all linked together. Let's start by taking a look at the clips that inspired this video. Just a couple short clips, but get into that.
What else would you like? So you're going to go ahead and do further research?
I was going to do more research if I could.
Okay,
but
what specifically are you looking into?
I am looking into... What do you want me to look into?
Well, only after you've done sufficient research on whatever you're looking for yourself. But, if you just happen to stumble upon anything about the Briarwoods, what they were up to, having a dead woman in your head a year after she dies, how to get rid of said dead woman in your head. If I get rid of said dead woman, am I going to lose all my powers? All those things.
All right.
And that could be good.
So the stuff we talked about.
Yeah, you know.
Or I want to find out information about the Briarwoods in Whitestone. Any information I can find out about them.
Roll an investigation check.
With advantage?
With advantage because of the spell.
Come on, you piece of sh...
Probably just need more dice.
8.
8.
I'm sorry, Laudna.
Gotta cross it.
It's okay.
It's all right.
You find historical records, which are, available. They speak of Silas and Delilah Briarwood, two nobles within the realm of Wildmount that were, some accounts say exiled, others say that they were hunted beyond its borders.
Angry.
I can tell. But then were known to abscond to Tal'Dorei, where they raised a bloody incursion in the city of Whitestone, wiping out the majority of the Dorolo family and then taking over. There they held, in secret, power in court over the township for the period of about 5 years before they were ousted and thought to be destroyed by the heroes known as Vox Machina.
Are there pictures of them in the book, and are they sexy?
No, there are not pictures because you rolled too low to find the sexy photos.
Sexy picture.
A 15 at least to find the sexy photos. I'm just saying. Yes.
Legends of Vox Machina is a swimsuit issue.
There's a note scribbled on the side. Pretty sexy.
Hey, the Ghost Rider spread in that swimsuit issue was awesome.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Is this holographic?
In the dollar bin.
Look at that. Look at that cute.
Okay.
But yeah, and you find footnotes that apparently speak of involvement, like post-mortem involvement during the incursion of the Whispered One, also involving Vox Machina, but there has been no recorded account of that, and that's it.
Okay. I'm also looking for Laudna, to be able to sever that Delilah connection, if she did that, like any evidence that if she severed that connection with Delilah, she would lose that.
Most conversations and write-ups regarding patron-based relationships where it is a gift granted by a contract with a more powerful entity or being say that when that contract is broken outside of some sort of majestic fey double cross written in print type gotcha moment, those gifts do recede with the arrangement. There are exceptions, but they're rare, and they usually fall into the realm of folklore or fairy tales that are told through the ages of a mortal outsmarting an immortal. And those are rare or, honestly, probably fiction in a lot of cases.
Okay.
So I'd say there are discussions that fall in the realm of interesting conversation topics, but there is no, like, how to break your relationship with your patron and keep your magic for dummies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What did we learn from these clips? We learned that Laudna and Imogen are obviously actively looking into the Briarwoods, be it their historic significance or how they relate to Laudna's powers, etc. Also, we see that essentially Imogen learned pretty much the more generic general information on the Briarwoods, their affiliation with the Whispered One, Whitestone, and their defeats at the hands of Vox Machina. However, the most important bit of information we learned was that apparently Delilah didn't pop into Laudna's head until a year after Delilah died. So this gives us a lot more questions than answers. Was it Delilah's necromancy that brought Laudna back to life after she died in Whitestone? Or perhaps she was brought back some other way and Delilah, died and then she took advantage of Laudna. Or perhaps Delilah's necromancy did bring Laudna back to life, and because of that link, she was able to stick around after she died. I know in previous videos I mentioned how I thought Delilah wasn't always in Laudna's head, and that she's working with remnants, them being the cult of the Whispered One Vecna, which would make a lot of sense considering Laudna and Imogen are actively trying to find ways to free Laudna of Delilah, and Delilah hasn't done or said anything on the matter. Also, if Delilah jumped into Laudna's head a year after her death, that would actually line up with Dalin's closet. The events where Percy and Vex got married and Silas Briarwood, which is Delilah's husband, attacked them. Was Delilah unable to communicate with Silas initially, or did Delilah or Vecna instruct Silas to attack to kind of help hide the fact that Delilah was back? I just find it interesting that, like, Silas's whole purpose for attacking them was because Delilah's dead, but around that time, Delilah came back. I mean, then again, this could all just be stuff that was thought up after that event, so probably best not to look too much into it, but would be cool if they just dropped like a line or two at one point during the campaign that would explain, why, Silas didn't know. Like I said, that one line gives us a lot more questions than answers, but at least we got a little more insight to Laudna's backstory. So, I'm sure you're asking, Chris, how does this all tie into the champion of ravens, Vax'ildan? I don't think I have to tell any of you who Vax'ildan is, but to give a little TLDR without much spoilers, Vax'ildan is the twin brother of Vex'ahlia, who was played by Liam in Critical Role Campaign 1. His fate was locked in with the Matron of Ravens, also known as the Raven Queen, whom he embraced by the end of the campaign. We learn in Tal'Dorei Reborn that the Champion of Ravens isn't exactly Vax'ildan, but Vax does reside in him. Also, we learn he does return to the material plane to fulfill his goddess's will, albeit extremely rare for him to do so. Basically, he comes to the material plane to eliminate those who would cheat death and to shepherd those who die through the veil of the mortal world. Not much in the stat block backs up my little theory I'll present in a bit, but it still has some interesting stuff in it. For starters, the Champion of Ravens does seem to buff Vax'ildan quite a bit. He has the highest challenge rating out of any of the Vox Machina members, which I think they all scale between like a CR of 15 to 18, and then Vax'ildan I think is like 20 or 21, something like that. He still has some of his rogue abilities, his druid craft, and the lucky feat has been changed into Fate Touch, which Fate Touch is essentially the lucky feat. When you make an ability score, saving throw, attack roll, you can re-roll and then choose, like, you know, which one you do, which one you take. Not sure the Champion of Ravens had this many resistances and immunities when he was simply Vax, but there they are. He's resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks, as well as radiant, necrotic, and poison damage. Only thing I would change is I would just make him resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. Like, I know it's like, oh, it's super powerful, you know, if it's all of them, but I mean, he's the Champion of Ravens, you know, like, kind of supposed to be a little OP, which he is, but I just thought that was kind of weird. It's like you're giving him all this stuff, but there's that one thing. And he has immunity to Charmed, Exhaustion, Frightened, and being knocked out. Unconscious. He has the ability to have his smite deal radiant or necrotic damage when he hits a target with a weapon attack and does not have disadvantage. Touch of Life and Death, which recharges after a short or long rest, allows him to either heal or deal necrotic damage. Either way, the value is 55. If the creature is unwilling, they must succeed a dexterity saving throw of 20. So how does the Champion of Ravens tie into Laudna, Chetney, the Remnants, the Claret, Orders, and the Briarwoods? In my previous video, Chetney's transformation and how it affects Laudna, I go into a lot more detail on the connection between Chetney and the Claret Orders, as well as the fact that the Order got their power of Hemocraft from the Matron of Ravens. Considering the Claret Orders are followers of the Matron of Ravens, and the Raven Queen doesn't exactly like undead things, don't really think they'll accept Laudna that much, considering she's kind of sort of undead, you know? That's not all. I feel Delilah is using Laudna as an anchor to the material plane, and only occasionally checks in on Laudna to make sure she's Gucci. While she isn't with Laudna, she's working with the Remnants to fulfill the will of the Whispered One, Vecna. Eventually, the Remnants are going to catch wind that Laudna and Imogen are trying to sever the tie Laudna has with Delilah, thus breaking the anchor, or perhaps they'll actually get close to freeing Laudna from Delilah, and Delilah will call the Remnants into action. Regardless, the party will cross paths with the Remnants. So, that is a lot of activity. Chetney with the Claret Orders, Delilah and the Remnants, and who's going to be at the center of it all? Laudna. So I feel the Matron of Ravens may decide to send her champion, Vax'ildan, back to the material plane. Will it be to assist the group, or destroy the anchor that is keeping Delilah Briarwood on the material plane, that being Laudna? Who knows? I could be completely wrong about everything, completely wrong about some things. I just think it's really fun to theory craft all of this stuff, especially since Laudna is my favorite character in Campaign 3. All I know is after every episode on Thursday, and I do my little highlight videos, my little funny videos on Friday, and, you know, I push that to doing it on Mondays because, you know, I don't want to get, you know, kicked off YouTube because of it. But I really wanted to make sure that I really wanted to do something on Fridays because, you know, despite some of my criticisms, I really enjoy Critical Role, and it's the reason why I got into Dungeons and Dragons to begin with. So yeah, I wanted to do something on Fridays. I thought little theory craft videos like this on Fridays, and then the highlight stuff if I decide to keep doing them on Mondays. But yeah, if you have any input on that, anything you'd like to see in particular when it comes to Critical Role, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Critical Role coverage. And I think this might be the last video I do on Tal'Dorei Reborn, unless any of you would like to see anything specific with the book. But I think my final video on Tal'Dorei Reborn is going to be covering the rest of the members of Vox Machina. So yeah, unless you guys request something, I got like one more video unless I split it into 2 parts. But I'm gonna keep, you know, trying to use, be it Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, Tal'Dorei Reborn, I'm gonna keep trying to use those supplements to kind of fuel my theories that I have on Critical Role, and keep trying to do stuff like this every Friday. So, everyone, thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. Have yourselves a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one.